Hi, and welcome to TXDZNY. On today's show, I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite hidden Mickeys around Walt Disney World. So in this video, I'm not going to be talking about all the hidden Mickeys throughout the parks because there's so many that are in all four parks at Walt Disney World. And there's also so many just parts of the park that have just regular Mickey decor. But these aren't considered the hidden Mickeys I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm going to be talking roughly about like 35, 40 of some of my favorite hidden Mickeys throughout the four parks at Walt Disney World. I won't be talking about the ones inside the resorts and stuff like that. This is just going to be about the four parks of Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. So I am going to do this video where I'm going to do it park by park, just so I'm not bouncing around and stuff like that. So I'm going to go, I'm a little OCD where I like doing things in park order. I don't know if anybody's like this like me, where I like whenever I'm mentioning stuff with Disney, I like doing it in the ways that they open. So I always like doing things Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. So that's how I'm going to be breaking down these hidden Mickeys that are some of my favorite inside the four parks in that order. So at Magic Kingdom, we'll start with one of my favorite hidden Mickeys. On Haunted Mansion, which is one of my favorite dark rides there at all of Walt Disney World, in the ballroom scene at the table, you'll notice the bottom left place setting, the plates there make a hidden Mickey. They actually have this in both Disney World and Disneyland, which is very interesting. But this is one of my favorite hidden Mickeys inside Magic Kingdom. Now I'll bounce over to Tomorrowland in the Carousel of Progress. The Carousel of Progress actually has a few different hidden Mickeys. They have a hidden Mickey on the pepper grinder. Also, one of the nutcrackers is actually a Mickey. And you'll notice that one of the wrapping papers in the Christmas scene is also got a Mickey shape on it. So those are the three hidden Mickeys that are kind of easy to find out. And they're just on the Christmas scene at the Carousel of Progress. Now I'll bounce over to Mickey's Philhar's Magic over there in Fantasyland, which is, I think, a very underrated show in Magic Kingdom. But there is a hidden Mickey on the wall in the entrance by the trombone up on the wall. And then there's also one on the stage that's mixed in with one of the instruments if you pay close attention to it. It looks like it's part of the instrument when it forms the shape of a hidden Mickey. Bouncing back over to Tomorrowland on Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger's Spin, they have, when you enter into the ride, on the right side there's a poster and it looks like it's a map and everything like that, and one of the continents on it is in the shape of a hidden Mickey. When you're at the end of this ride, on the left hand side, they're going to have that same kind of picture and you're going to be able to see that same continent in the shape of a hidden Mickey. So you're going to see kind of the same thing twice as a hidden Mickey on that ride. I hope they keep these. This ride is going under a little bit of a refurb here soon where they're changing up some of the ride vehicles and adding a scene or two. So I'm hoping they keep these hidden Mickeys as part of it. Going back over to Fantasyland and Under the Sea, The Journey with Little Mermaid, in the scene where Sebastian sings Under the Sea, you'll see a lot of purple corals in the scene, and there's several different shapes that it makes into a hidden Mickey if you're paying attention during that scene. That's a good little area to see several of them on there. Back over to Fantasyland, on the People Mover, there's at the end of the ride a fashionable like future dweller, and on the right-hand side, you'll see that on their belt buckle on this person, there is going to be a hidden Mickey on it. It's at the end of the ride, so try to pay attention and catch that one. Now we'll head over to Adventureland and go over to the Magic Carpets of Aladdin. This is one of my favorite hidden Mickeys at Walt Disney World overall. If you go out of the exit of this ride, going towards the shops, you'll see a pole there that has a blue base to it. If you go up to that pole and take about 3 steps backwards away from the pole and look down, there's a charm on the ground that has a Mickey in it. A lot of people kind of know about this, and you might see some people gathering there, but it's a really cool little hidden Mickey. It's literally just a charm that's like on the ground, embedded into it with a Mickey on it. So it's one of the cooler ones to go see over there in that area in between Aladdin's Magic Carpets and the shop over there in Adventureland. Back over to Fantasyland on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. On your ascend, when you're going into the cave and you have all the 7 dwarves in there, if you look to the right and look behind Sneezy, 3 of the gems there do make a hidden Mickey, which is a fun one to see on that ascend on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Heading over to Adventureland and going on Pirates of the Caribbean. If you're going on the standby line, as soon as you enter into the queue, you'll see 4 like gun cabinets hanging from both sides. The locks on these cabinets hanging will make a hidden Mickey. So if you're going on the standby line, try to pay attention that it's right in your queue before you get on Pirates of the Caribbean. Over to Frontierland, Big Thunder Mountain, when you're on the ride and you're coming and you're slowing down at the end of the ride, if you look to your right-hand side, there's 2 gear shifters on the ground over there. The second set of gear shifters there will form a hidden Mickey at the end of this ride. So try to look for that. This ride's also going under a refurb, but I don't think they're going to be touching this scene. I think they're mostly doing the track to make it a little bit smoother. An attraction that we don't go on that often or go through, the Swiss Robinson Family Treehouse. On the giant tree, some of the moss and bark on that giant tree do form a hidden Mickey on it. I do recommend maybe going, if you have some time, going and climbing up this tree, and it does have some of the best views in Walt Disney World up there at the top of Swiss Robinson Family Treehouse. But it does have that hidden Mickey down there on the giant tree at the base with the moss and the bark. Heading over to Storybook Circus on the Barnstormer, there's the sign that has been ran through on that ride. If you look at the sign, there's 2 planes on it. The smaller plane, the propeller on it, and the dead center of the propeller is a hidden Mickey. And that's a cool one I like seeing, and the kids absolutely love seeing this one as well. And the last one I'll talk about in Magic Kingdom is on Winnie the Pooh. Inside the tree, before you, like at the entrance of the ride, inside the one where you see, if you have kids, where your kids will go inside and go play inside that tree. Inside that tree, there is a hidden Mickey that looks like it's part of the tree. Your kids will definitely notice it since it's easier for them to get in and out of it. But it's a cool little hidden Mickey for the kids to see and for you to peek in and go and look at. So as I said, there's hidden Mickeys throughout all of Magic Kingdom. Those are just some of my favorites that I thought I'd tell you guys about. So now we'll jump into some of the, this is my favorite park that has them, is the ones at Epcot. So I'll start by talking about, there's 2 of them on Soarin'. One is in the hot air balloon scene. When you're in that scene, the hot air balloons, when they're moving across each other, at the right point, 3 of them will make a hidden Mickey. And then at the very, very end, when the fireworks are going off, when the first fireworks go off mixed in with Spaceship Earth, it makes a big hidden Mickey, and you'll see some other small ones in that scene as well. So those are good ones to always look out for while you're flying up there and soaring. Now, Back in World Showcase has some of my favorites. I think every country back there has at least one, but I'm going to be talking about like maybe half the countries in this one of some of the ones that I love. So I'll talk first about the one in Japan that I really like. If you look in the koi pond, if you pay attention, there's like a silver drain there, and the silver drain has a hidden Mickey on the drain in that koi pond in Japan. Staying back in World Showcase, going on Grand Fiesta Tour in the Mexico Pavilion, there's 2 hidden Mickeys on this ride, and they're both at the end of the ride. Given that it's a boat ride and you're moving slow, so they're a little bit easier to see. The first one is on your right-hand side when it's showing the buildings at the end of the scene on the murals. If you look in one of the windows, there's actually, it's not just like your typical 3-circle Mickey. It's actually Mickey in one of the windows. And then if you look at the end of the ride on the left-hand side, there's some bongos, and if you look at the bongos, there's a hidden Mickey on those as well. Heading over to the Imagination area on the Figment ride, when you're in the scene where you're inside Figment's house and everything's upside down, when you're in his bathroom, when you catch it at the right angle, actually the toilet seat, and then they have 2 dots on the ground when it's upside down. And when you're going through that ride slowly and you catch it at the right time, you'll see it form a hidden Mickey in the upside down bathroom scene on Figment. Heading back to World Showcase again in the Canada Pavilion, obviously it has a lot of totem poles in there. If you look at one of the totem poles, kind of at the top of one of them, it does have a red hidden Mickey on it. And that's one of my favorites. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's one of the first things you see when you walk in that Canada Pavilion. So that's a real cool hidden Mickey over there in Canada. Now this hidden Mickey isn't overly hidden. Over there in the seas, when you look in the shark tank, the big tank that you see there, they form the rocks there into a Mickey. It's not overly hidden, but it's still, I think, one of the cooler ones when you're walking through the seas for especially the kids to see, and just really something cool for everybody to see. But it's not overly hidden, but I still like this one a lot. Heading back to World Showcase again, in the Italy Pavilion at the Neptune statue on the right-hand side, in the rocks behind the statue, you'll see a form of hidden Mickey in those. That's a really cool one to see. It's another one that once you see it and you go over there, that statue, you can't unsee. So this is a really cool one over there in the Italy Pavilion. Now heading to the front of the park on Spaceship Earth. This one has several hidden Mickeys, but I'm going to talk about two of them that I really like. So the first one's going to be when you're walking up on the ride and you'll see the mural right before you walk into Spaceship Earth. The number 3 on the mural does make into a sideways hidden Mickey. So that's a really cool one. And then once on the ride in the Renaissance theme, that first painter you'll see, if you look by him, you'll see another hidden Mickey in that scene. So those are my two favorite on there, but there are other hidden Mickeys on this one if you want to keep your eyes peeled, but those are my two favorites. Back over to World Showcase in the Germany Pavilion. If you look at the tops of some of these buildings, you'll see different decor. There's 3 kings in a row on up there when you look it up high. There's what's known as King Philip I. If you look at his crown, on his crown there's a hidden Mickey on this crown. So that's a really cool one when you're back there in the Germany Pavilion. So there's 3 of them. So try to pay attention and see if you can find which one has the hidden Mickey on the crown. On Living with the Land, they have several as well. One of the cool ones that they do there is they always put the hose about halfway through the ride into the shape of a Mickey. And so this is always a nice little touch. And they always have some sort of additional hidden Mickeys on this ride that they change, sometimes seasonally. So it's always a good ride to try to catch some of those hidden Mickeys on there. And lastly, for Epcot, we'll talk about a couple of them in France. If you look around the whole area of the entrance of Monsieur Paul, there's going to be a hidden Mickey over there. And then if you look at the columns over there in Les Vins de France, there's some as well. So those are 2 cool ones that are like right near each other over there in the France Pavilion that are kind of subtle and really cool to look at. So just like I was talking about in Magic Kingdom, these aren't all the ones in Epcot. These are just some of my favorites. What some Disney Imagineers have admitted over the years is that they really started adding some more hidden Mickeys into their attractions and areas after some of the initial parks opened, such as Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. They started adding them more when they started doing Epcot, Hollywood Studios, California Adventure, and Animal Kingdom in the U.S. parks. So you will see a little bit more in those parks that are a little bit newer, but some of the newer rides in Magic Kingdom and stuff like that will have more hidden Mickeys. But it is something that they do confirm that they do on purpose. It's not just on accident that they have these hidden Mickeys. So next we'll pop over to Hollywood Studios. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is on Slinky Dog. If you look on Andy's drawing of Slinky Dog right before you're about to get on the ride, you will look up in the clouds and there's a hidden Mickey that is supposed to be made to look like it's as part of the clouds. So this is a really cool one to see when you're about to go on Slinky Dog. Headed over to one of my favorite rides at Hollywood Studios, Tower of Terror. If you look at the balcony in the lobby, you'll see several hidden Mickeys in there. If you get a chance to just kind of hang out in there for a little bit, there's several of them in this little scene area on Tower of Terror. Heading back over to Toy Story Land, on Alien Saucers, on the mural when you're in the queue, you'll see 3 buttons. Those 3 buttons form into a hidden Mickey. This is a kind of an obvious one. Actually, this is my daughter who spotted this one for us, and it's a really cool one for the kids to see because it's right at their level and stuff like that. I do highly recommend trying to get your kids involved in some of this and just try to keep their eyes peeled. It does keep them interested when they're on lines and stuff like that to look for these hidden Mickeys. So the next one I'm going to be talking about is only going to be around for a little bit longer, so try to see this one if you haven't. If you go on Rock and Roller Coaster in the pre-show with Aerosmith, you'll see the wires to the guitar, microphones, and stuff like that do make into the shape of a hidden Mickey, very similar to Living with the Land with the hoses. But since this ride isn't going to be open for very much longer, if you do want to catch this one, and obviously it's a great ride, try to see that one in the pre-show. You'll catch that hidden Mickey with the wires. You'll see with the newer rides at Walt Disney World, you will see actually more hidden Mickeys on these rides if you pay attention. So we'll talk about Mickey's Runaway Railway. This has pretty much a hidden Mickey in every scene on this ride if you pay attention. Some are very obvious, like the fireworks at the end. One of my favorites on this ride is at the very, very end of this ride, and you see the street signs and stuff like that. There's a couple hidden Mickeys in that area. But literally, you can look in every single scene, and you'll see at least one hidden Mickey. So keep your eyes peeled while on Mickey's Runaway Railway. You see lots of hidden Mickeys on this ride. Next, we'll head over to Star Tours. They have two on this ride that I really like. One's in the wood in the queue. Both of these are actually in the queue. So the first one's in the wood in the queue. And then the second one's going to be when you walk into the second room and you'll see the droids there. One of the droids actually has Mickey ears on, which is pretty cool. So those are two of them just in the queue on Star Tours, which isn't a favorite ride of mine, but my kids and my wife like going on it. I normally skip out on and just sit back and have a drink or something like that. But these are good ones for your kids to look on when they're in the queue to go on Star Tours. Back over to Toy Story Land on Toy Story Mania, very similar to like Slinky Dog. On one of the murals there in the queue, the clouds will form a hidden Mickey in the queue on this ride. Also look for the sign that says Circus Fun. The exclamation point on this, that's pink, does form into a Mickey. So those are two on Toy Story Mania that are really cool. There's actually several on this one as well, but those two are my favorites for this ride. On the entrance sign onto the Voyage of the Little Mermaid show, if you look at the bubbles, they have some hidden Mickeys on there as well. So this is more of an obvious one, but it's still a cool one to see. And this show is about to open right back up. So there'll be people start going back in that area again to go see the show. And last for Hollywood Studios is actually the whole park, if you take an aerial of it, actually forms a Mickey head, which is really, really cool. Given with some of the additions and stuff over the years, it's not as easy to see, but I'll show you guys where from the early stages of MGM and stuff like that, how it was a very clear Mickey head. And still you can kind of see it even with the new rides and stuff like that, but literally the whole entire main part of the park and everything, the way it was designed, when you do an aerial of it, forms a Mickey, which is a really, really cool touch by the Imagineers. Again, Hollywood Studios, much like Epcot, has tons of them throughout the park. So you can look up and you can see lots of them. Those are just some of my favorites that they have around there. So now we're going to head over to Animal Kingdom, where it doesn't have as many that are so hidden. Some of them are more blatant there, but does still have some of my favorite ones in Disney World. So we have to start with the Tree of Life over here at Animal Kingdom. If you look right near the tiger, the moss actually makes a hidden Mickey on it. And this is a very cool one when you're really paying attention to the Tree of Life. Look for that tiger and then look for the moss, and you'll see a really cool hidden Mickey on this. And my favorite one at Animal Kingdom is on Kilimanjaro Safari. The Flamingo Island, obviously where the flamingos are, the island there where you see all the flamingos on is actually a hidden Mickey, which is really, really cool. So you can actually see once now that if you pay attention to it, it is a hidden Mickey, and it's really cool to see the flamingos all on that Mickey-shaped island. So next I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to mess up this word, and correct me if I'm wrong, but on the Maharaja Trek, there's tons of murals on this trek. So pay attention to them, and there's hidden Mickeys throughout all these murals when going on this. So pay very close attention when we're doing it. You'll see countless hidden Mickeys on here. To piggyback off of that, on Rafiki's Planet Watch, if you're going to go ahead and do that, just on the mural alone on the entrance, there's going to be over 20 hidden Mickeys on it. So it's really cool when you're just looking at that sign. You can just look at that sign and try to find as many as you can. But both those areas with the animals and stuff like that are really cool, where if you just look at the pictures while looking at the animals, you'll see lots of hidden Mickeys on here. Another one that you guys need to catch before it goes away is on Dinosaur. When passing by the lab scene, if you'll see a whiteboard, if you look at the left-hand side of this whiteboard, you'll see a blue hidden Mickey on that whiteboard. So try to pay attention to that one, and given that that ride closes soon, try to catch it before it closes. And lastly, for Animal Kingdom, I'm going to end it with talking about my favorite live show in all of Walt Disney World and Festival of the Lion King. If you pay attention to the stages that some of the characters come out on, like Pumbaa and stuff like that, on the decor of that stage that they're coming out on, you'll see some, it just looks like some paintings on there, but a lot of the painting images are hidden Mickeys on it. So it's a cool one to see on all their little stages that they keep coming out on when they're doing their performance. So that's roughly about 40 of my favorite hidden Mickeys throughout the 4 Disney parks. I'd love for you to comment and tell me some of your guys' favorites. that you really like throughout the parks, even some of the resorts. I didn't touch on the resorts on this one, but I'd love to see and hear some of the ones that you guys really like. But these are some of my favorite. I do highly recommend making this an activity you guys do, especially with your kids when you're on lines and stuff like that. There's so many hidden Mickeys throughout the parks that some of them aren't even meant to be. You just get creative with them, especially the kids will get very creative with them. And it keeps it very fun and keeps the kids very occupied and keeps their eyes peeled and very into everything that you're doing when you're there. So I highly recommend always looking for your hidden Mickeys. There's even some guides and stuff for them where there's way more than what I'm talking about. Like I said, these are just some of my favorites. So I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video and you can really enjoy looking for some of these hidden Mickeys on your next Disney World trip. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye.